Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today I'm playing Pauper at the request of Patreon subscriber Hunter, and this is a brew challenge around the card Reality Acid. The concept that this deck came out of was that Hunter wanted to see Pox in Pauper. And obviously the card Pox is a rare, the card Smallpox is an uncommon. We can't actually Pox in this format, but we can simulate the experience of making your opponent discard cards while slowly squeezing out their resources so they can't play the game anymore. That's really the Pox experience at the end of the day. And Reality Acid is the poxiest card that I think we have access to. Acid reads 2 and a blue, enchantment aura, enchant permanent, any permanent at all. Vanishing 3. Vanishing is in your upkeep, remove a counter, and if there's no counters, sacrifice this permanent. And then when this aura leaves the battlefield, enchanted permanent's controller sacrifices it. On the surface, this is enchant one of your opponent's things, 3 turns from now it dies. However, we're not using it like that. Reality Acid just has to leave the battlefield for the sacrifice triggered or clause. It has nothing to do with vanishing. Those are completely separate and hopefully irrelevant words throughout this league. Which means I've packed the deck with ways to remove Reality Acid from play. Dreamstalker. When this enters, return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. Teferi's Time Twist. Exile target permanent you control, return it in the end step. Aether Trade Winds. Return target permanent you control and target permanent you don't control to their owner's hands. Sticky Tongue Sentinel. When this enters, return up to 1 other target permanent you control to its owner's hand. That is a bunch of ways to bounce Reality Acid or flicker Reality Acid in a way that kills the thing it's enchanting, and then it comes back, whether at the end of the turn or when I cast it again, to enchant something else. It's very easy to pack a deck with cards that work with Reality Acid. The trick is, and this is something that a lot of people seem to forget when they're building a deck, is what happens if I don't have my namesake card? You don't just start with Reality Acid in your hand and you get to play on from there. You do sometimes just not have an acid, or maybe the first one gets countered and then you have all these bounce spells, or it gets discarded, or whatever. We need other things that work in the same sort of way Reality Acid does, and the appeal of Acid is bouncing it is valuable, which is no stranger to the Pauper world. Many decks bounce things for value in this format, and frequently that's done with white cards, Clint Hawk and Core Skyfisher, but Hunter specifically asked this not to be a white deck because blue-white Reality Acid is a existing archetype. It's pretty fringe, but it is out there. And we wanted to see something new today. For that reason, I have a lot of the usual suspects. Refurbished Familiar, great ETB ability. Archaeomancer, great ETB ability. Sets up an endgame loop with Ghostly Flicker. You can flicker targeting Archaeomancer and anything else, and then you get the value of the second thing, then you get the Ghostly Flicker back with Archaeomancer. Blood Fountain. This is a one-of mostly to just help the affinity things. Refurbished Familiar and Thoughtcast are part of my engine, and you do want to be able to cast these for 1 mana. Grimbauble kills a small thing. Prophetic Prism draws a card. Tithing Blade kills whatever their worst creature is, but if they only have 1 creature, it kills their best creature. There's a Radiant Fountain and a Bajuka Bog in the deck. We can get some value off of bouncing or flickering lands. Unfortunately, Ghostly Flicker cannot target Reality Acid because enchantment is not an artifact or creature or land, which Ghostly Flicker specifically describes. However, I can flicker the things that flicker Reality Acid, and Ghostly Flicker is just its own dope value card on its own. Even just flickering a Tithing Blade and a Refurbished Familiar, I'm going to be pretty happy with that. Flickering Cryogen Relic is just like Ancestral Recall. And this does, unfortunately, have to lean on the pretty well-established affinity core, the bridges for mana, Refurbished Familiar, Thoughtcast. Refurbished Familiar is just one of the best things that a deck like this could be doing, and for that reason, leaned into some established tech. I'm excited to play this. It wants pieces to interlock to really do anything, which feels like Pox. It is going to be very slow about winning the game, which feels like Pox. I imagine we will experience situations where my opponent resolves a card and I'm like, wow, I have no outs to that, which also feels like Pox. But I love Sultai as a color wedge. It's cool to try new and different things, and I'm here for it. Let's do it. This is Acid Pox from Hunter. I'm on the draw in round 1. I'm going to keep. I have turn 2 Refurbished Familiar plus turn 3 Reality Acid, and then question mark Profit. Opponent's on a mull to 6. Jagged Barrens. Alright, I've taken 1 damage. Misfault Bridge, pass. Opponent says hi YouTube. Everyone say hi to Frank Bonaparte. Baldaran Epicure. Looks like we're playing against some Madness Burn, which is an awkward deck to make discard a card, but this is still what I'm doing. Right, Sneaky Snacker straight to the graveyard. They draw 3 cards in a turn, they get it back. The blood token represents an easy second card. I am not ready to start taking damage from this, especially with Suffocating Fumes in my hand. Vampire Kiss, lose 2 life, make 2 bloods. Next turn, they can easily sneak that Snacker back in. I'm going to attack with Familiar. I think I should actually just leave up Ghostly Flicker this turn. Like, I could Fumes. If they just, like, blood away, get the Snacker back, I can cook the Epicure and cook the Snacker. If they try to remove my Familiar, I can Flicker it. They lose another card. Grab the Prize. Alright, cool. Alms of the Vein. Grab the Prize also triggers Snacker. I've been almsed in my veins. Snacker's back. End step, all Fumes. This is what I signed up for. Thoughtcast, hello. Just in time. I needed something to do here. Tithing Blade, moderate. Got another Thoughtcast, which can hold up cast down. Alright. I will attack. Yeah, they're at 21 life, and I'm at 9. Don't like my chances here. I have tucked a bunch of passive life gain and graveyard hate both into this deck, but I don't currently have either of those. I found a second Snacker. Really hate to use removal on that, but it's what I've got right now. Vault of Whispers, Tithing Blade. Now I actually have 2 targets for Ghostly Flicker. Those bloods still sitting around, though. They're not going to run out of gas here. Grab the Prize, discarding Fiery Temper. Hate to see it. I'm at 4. I'm so dead. Snacker. Snacker. A Mountain. Uh-oh. Well, I'm certainly going to struggle to beat a Mountain. End step, I'll Flicker my 2 things and die to Lightning Bolt. I've also turned on Fire Temper, and they do have it. All right. Burn is a big part of the format right now. I know that, and my sideboard has quite a bit for it. Suffocating Fumes is okay, but I don't think it's better than all of this sideboard unpacking. Tithing Blade, pretty mid. Blood Fountain's out. How many Nile Spellbombs do I want? Well, I'm boarding 1 in, so enough. Archaeomancer can come out, that's really slow. Sticky Tongue Sentinel has Reach, which is actually insane in this matchup. Yeah, I think I actually need the Suffocating Fumes. That's one of my few ways to actually catch up. And you hate to do it on Brew Day, but I actually think Reality Acid's really slow and kind of bad in this matchup. I will shave 1. I'll leave some in for content. And what's the slowest card left? And Ghostly Flicker is actually pretty good because that can hit my Radiant Fountain and do stuff. Trade Winds might be too slow. All right, I'm going to shave a Trade Winds. And this is what I've got now. Okay, this is slow-ish, but does do stuff. I'm going to lead on my Tangle Pool Bridge and give them a turn to maybe discard something to Bojuka Bog. But the cool thing about this deck is I can pick up the Bojuka Bog and reuse it, but I found a better land. We'll just draw a card. Okay, my lands are set up. I'm good on those for a minute. Cast into the Fire, yep. That is how Pauper sideboards work. I'm going to Dreamstalk my Cryogen Relic back. The mighty 1/5 blocker. Grab the Prize, immediately triggering a Snacker. I can deal with all of that this turn. Grimbauble. Bob your snack. Bog you. I'll Spellbomb, get it in. Attack for 1. Push and damage. I don't have a lot of green sources in the deck. It's a very light splash, and they've exiled 1 already. So I do probably want to invest this Tangle Pool Bridge in the near future. I do not want to play against this Snacker, so I'll just use my Spellbomb even though I don't get a card out of this. That is a big part of what their deck does, and if I can turn it off, I'll take it. Okay, I can get green on without tapping out. Cryogen Relic draws a card. Refurbished Familiar, what's up? Yeah, whatever. Let's turn on that Fiery Temper. They'll find a way to cast it anyway. Oh, discarded Faithless Looting. That's not bad. And attack. Trade wins. Has targets. Another looting. Kitchen Imp and Fiery Temper. They'll probably kill my Refurbished Familiar and then attack me for 2. Yep, Familiar's dead. Imp's coming in. 2/2 Flying Haste. Sticky Tongue Sentinel. Alright, so I can kill the Imp with that. I'll attack with Stalker. I could also just block the Imp with that. Like, I could bounce Cryogen Relic, draw a card, put a 3/3 in front of this Kitchen Imp. Or I could pick up Grim Bauble, kill the Imp. I'll start with Sentinel. I am going to bounce my Bauble. Bauble kills the Imp. Get a land in tapped. At 16, I think I'm okay here to hold on to Weather the Storm a little longer. Grab the prize, discarding Fiery Temper. This deck is so good at what it does. Okay, they're going face, ignoring my 3/3. Vampire Kiss. I'm at 9. Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Just doing a mana count for if I need to play the untapped land or the tapped one. And I can do everything my hand does with 5 mana, so I'll get the tapped land in. I can gain minimum 6 life. If they play a card, it's 9. If they play 2 cards, it's 12. Grab the prize. Storm is 1. Jagged Barrens, I'm at 6. Blood Token. End of turn. I'm going to bounce my Cryogen Relic and their Blood Token. I'll just force the issue here. There's 2 targets, so this will still resolve even if they use their blood in response. And if they use their blood to cast a spell, that's more Storm. I draw for Relic and end step Weather. Gain 9 here. Pretty good. Not out of reach, but it is a lot of gas. Okay, Lightning Bolt my Sentinel. Taking their pressure off. Ghostly Flicker, what's up? We're having a good time now. Thoughtcast. Acid. Hell yeah. I mean, their permanents are very good. But there is a Bajuka Bog in play. I'll play out Tree of Tales, and I think this is actually a setup turn. Oh, I'm at 15. What are they going to do with 2 cards in their hand? There are 2 Faithless Lootings, though. I'm actually going to flicker right now. I'm going to flicker Bajuka Bog and Cryogen Relic. This will draw 1 million cards and exile their graveyard. Pew, 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 pew. And might as well Thoughtcast. We're out here. Storm is 4. Not that it matters on this particular turn. Sweet. Okay. All right, we're on the draw. Archaeomancer. Reality Acid is just so bad in this matchup. Like, sorry, Hunter. Sorry, viewers, but that is just not what it's about. I got to the spot where I could have blown up 2 of their lands, but they had 5. And it is an endgame that still exists, but it's not actually good or important. Crypt Incursion is a ton of life. Potentially a ton of life. Also potentially like 0 life. Or 3 if it only hits Snacker. It's probably good enough. And then Archaeomancer with Weather the Storm is a potential endgame. Okay. Unsexy, but it works. There's still 1 acid in here. We might kill something with an acid at some point. I will keep this hand. This hand's a little soft to cast into the fire. But we play on. Am I getting fired? Is something else happening? What's going on? They did cast into the fire. Immediately replace my blue source with an untapped one, which is actually better because I can Hydroblast this turn. If they have another one of these, Vampire Kiss, you got me. I think it's actually better for me to hold up Hydroblast this turn than to tap out for some medium effect. And then next turn I can play Refurbished Familiar with Hydroblast up and move forward in this game like that. They plotted a highway robbery. They seem to be aware of the card Hydroblast. That's weird. Okay, Familiar. Zapia on a turn where don't have mana up to do anything with that. And pass. I am going to Hydroblast this. I've got multiple Hydroblasts. If that was setting up Gorilla Shaman, that's really bad. Fiery Temper. Is this going face or are we on defense? We are on defense. Nice. Love that. And I'm at 17. Ambusher. Big game. Thoughtcast draws more cards than Relic does for the same mana. I'm just going to try to hit drops here. And we did. Leaving up Hydroblast again. various grab the prizes and faithless lootings are things that I probably want to fight over. Yep, grab the prize. Menacing Fiery Temper over the top. Counter target spell if it's red. I'm countering grab, not temper. Let's try to run them out of juice. There are currently 0 creatures in their graveyard for Crypt Incursion. Alright, I don't have a creature with which to ambush. I could just jam the Ambusher. It probably dies to some removal spell, but it does make them spend 3 damage on that instead of anything else. Yep, alright. Let's make them do that, I guess. It'll gain 3 life one way or another this turn. Another Fiery Temper off a blood token. They're almost out of those. Another... Oh, they had Rakdos Carnarium to pick up the thing. That's the same thing. There are now 2 creatures in a graveyard. I can target myself with that. I'm going to go Cryogen Relic. And let's get this Nile Spellbomb in. There are some options in front of me now. They're passing the turn. Just a land drop. I think I want to sack Cryogen Relic, targeting nothing, and draw a card. Stun nobody. This does open up a window where they could resolve some spells through Hydroblast that I don't have. And also Weather the Storm that I also don't have. Alright, let's draw another card. I do need to gain some life, even though exiling the graveyard doesn't matter. Radiant Fountain, what's up? The secret tech. The forbidden tech. I'm at 9. Prophetic Prism. Either trade wins. That can bounce my Radiant Fountain. They're down to 1 card in hand, plus the one they just drew. I can gain 6 at instant speed. Grab the prize, discarding Faithless Looting. Okay. I can't interact with that. I'm at 6 from that thing. And then in the end step, either trade wins, targeting my Radiant Fountain. Do I want to bounce the Rakdos Carnarium? That resets Jagged Barrens. I think I want to cycle Fumes before I do anything. Oh, Ghostly Flicker, that's so much better. Flicker, my gain life, and my draw card. We're kicking in. Sticky Tongue Sentinel. That's another 2 life or another card. Dreamstalker, that's another 2 life or another card. We're in the end game now, Stark. Sticky Tongues. Pick up Radiant Fountain. That will be my land drop for the turn. Dreamstalker. I think I want to keep picking up Radiant Fountain. Just get out of range. And now I'm on board. At 22 to 10, 2 cards in hand versus 5. Faithless Looting, can't interact with that. Kitchen Imp goes not to the graveyard. This is not something I can interact with Crypt Incursion. Are they going to know Sticky Tongue has Reach? The secret Reach. Duress, oh no. I guess I should incur my own Crypt in response. I could also bounce... Like, if Crypt Incursion goes, that's 6 life. But if I bounce Kitchen Imp... Oh, they have 4 mana to replay it. I could bounce Dreamstalker, Kitchen Imp. You can't Duress Dreamstalker, and then that's other stuff. Alright, I am going to do this. This is 6 life I'm giving up on, but I think that this value chain is worth it. Okay, Fella's back. I have Reach. Do you know I have Secret Reach? No, you don't. Shame Concede? Are we there? Okay. Yeah, Reach, pretty messed up. Radiant Fountain's back. I think at 12 with them Hellbent, I can start drawing extra cards with Prophetic Prism instead of looping my other thing. Oh, baby. Stick to this tongue. I would like to draw more cards. And we're going in. Turn in the corner. Got 20 life to remove. I'm at 12. They're Hellbent. There are 2 Faithless Lootings in the graveyard. And they don't want to play anymore. Okay. On the board with Bug Bounce Value. Though very little reality aciding was done that round. On to the next one. The BoshNRoll channel is brought to you by Tales of Adventure. TOAMagic.com has almost 100,000 unique cards in stock. They offer free track shipping on every order, plus next day or 2-day options when you have an event coming up fast. They offer on-site pickup at major Magic events throughout the US, so you're never scrambling before your tournament. Stop by their booth to buy, sell, or trade at upcoming regional championships, Magic Con, Spotlight Series, and more. I love their selection of individually scanned high-end cards that show you exactly what you're buying. And the best part is saving 5% on every order with promo code BOSH. From Ancestral Recall to Zombie Master, get what you need quickly and in one place at TOAMagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in round 2 with a great affinity hand. I will keep it. We'll turn to FAMs. I'm sure it's been discussed before, but it is awkward that Refurbished Familiar has the word familiar in it when familiars mean something very specific in the Pauper lexicon, and it's not this. Or at least it didn't used to be this. It might be now. I don't know your life. A Ponder. So this could be some terror deck. This could be High Tide, Blue Fairies. Did not shuffle their Ponder. I am getting in with familiar. Can we get more information about the deck? Sleep of the Dead. Okay. That is a card with escape. The value discard. This is definitely some aggressive blue deck. It's not High Tide. Tap target creature doesn't untap target its controller's untap step. And for 3 mana and 3 cards, you can play that from your graveyard. I'm just going to Thoughtcast a bunch of times this turn. Even if they counter one, I'll just play the other one. Oh, that's better. All right. I'll play the other Thoughtcast, see if I can bait a counterspell before playing my other refurbished familiar. Attack. Familiar. Mental note in response. Force Spike, a card that I now have to think about. I probably should have been thinking about it the whole time. Okay. So this resolves, which is good. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in the graveyard, which is not great. The Nile Spellbomb might have been a better way to play around terrors. And I can kill 1, but if they drop 2 this turn, that could be annoying. There's 1. There's 2. All right. Sad, but okay. Vault of Whispers. I'm just going to go for Cast Down immediately. Force Spike would be a beating here. But I got to make the move that I have. All right, we got 1 down. I'm not blocking, so I'll start to attack. Mental note. Milled over a Delver and a Sleep of the Dead. Okay, just don't come up with another terror. The 4th island. Come on! And Cryptic Serpent. All right, well, I guess if I had just played Nile Spellbomb 2 turns ago, we wouldn't be in this position. The hilarious way the fuck too late Bajuka Bog. Do we love to see it? I mean, I'll get you, I guess. Right on time. I'm going to attack with one of these because I'm going to bounce it and replay it. And then I'm going to have to start blocking. All right, Sticky Tongue, Sentinel. Return my familiar to my hand. Whatever that card is, get rid of it. Brainstorm in response. So then they now choose what they discard and they get to keep something on top, but they still have an empty hand. I discarded Island. Yeah, this might have been just me being loosey-goosey on current Pauper rules of engagement. If I had just played that Nile Spellbomb 2 turns ago, I think we're okay. I am going to block Terror. I know Serpent is bigger, but the clock is the same. We're basically playing Dan right now. It's how many hits from these bigos get through, and this one doesn't have ward if I rip another Cast Down or some other way to interact. Okay, so Blood Fountain can get me blocking. Yeah, only just. I'll return my things. Dead to any counterspell. And they did just brainstorm into whatever's in their hand. Okay, it was another Serpent they couldn't play. So here I have Jump, try to rip Tithing Blade. Tithing Blade actually completely stabilizes because they have the frog to pick it up. Come on, deck. Big rips. All right, they played out Island from hand. I'm going to blood away a Tanglepool Bridge. Oh my god. Oh my god! All right, Tithing Blade. Lose it. Sticky Tongue Sentinel. Pick it up. And I think I'm going to go Mistvault Bridge this turn because I don't think Nile Spellbomb matters because everything in their graveyard's a creature. All right, I need them not to draw a bounce spell. Or a counter spell, I guess. Block. I could have done it all there if I didn't have to blood into that the first time around. Delver, okay. Or not okay. Not okay, terrible. Another removal spell? Oh my god, oh my god. Everyone, gather around, children, for the greatest comeback in the history of Magic the Gathering. Tithing Blade. Sack a creature. Delver of Secrets. It's so unlucky that they drew that. How about Ghostly Flicker now? Targeting Tithing Blade and Bajuka Bog. Sack the creature. Exile the graveyard. Nile Spellbomb. I'm all in. Go. This is exciting. I don't know that I'm in good shape still, but it is exciting. Teferi's Time Twist. That's another Tithing Blade if I want it. But I am going to craft with a creature for now. I'll pick one of the refurbished familiars. Okay, I have a win condition. And I can kill a creature not at instant speed. I can exile a permanent at instant speed, but it won't come back until the end step. All right, draining you out. 11 to 5. Oh, there's that sticky tongue. We've got 2 cards in hand. Counterspell is likely. They haven't cantrip. They haven't played a creature. I think I'm just going to pass and let the Consuming Sepulcher do it. All right, 10 to 6. Another blade. That can let me get a little more bullish, but I don't need to. Thought Scour. This is why I haven't Nile Spellbombed yet, because they are at some point going to try to refill their graveyard. They did hit 2 spells, which means this was worth the mana spent on it. If they have a Serpent or a Terror right now, they could play it. But I'm stable. I'm past it. Another Scour. All right, I am going to Diamond Hands because I have the second blade in my hand. That one did not mill any new spells, which means it didn't pay for itself. Or it paid for itself because you get the Thought Scour. A Thought Scour that hits 2 is worth 2 mana. A Thought Scour that hits 0 just pays for itself. It's just Dark Ritual that draws a card. They did mill another Serpent. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of their 8 win conditions gone. I'm definitely spellbombing in this end step. I'm not getting any goofier around this than I have to be. Misvault Bridge. Graveyard's gone. 9 to 7. Next turn, we'll be tied. And I got the wins. The wins at my back. And they did nothing for a turn. Tie game. 8 all. 10 all. Now I'm winning by a lot, because that's how Magic the Gathering works. It's just down to your life total. And nothing else matters. They're still playing Drago. 7 to 11. Oh, the acid. All right, you want to learn what I'm about, opponent? I'm going to acid one of these islands. If this draws out a counterspell, I actually don't even care. But if it doesn't, I have options now with this Trade Winds and this Time Twist. Okay, sure. You can counter that. Deal. Reality Acid is actually better as Duress than it is as Reality Acid right now. Okay, they milled 2 spells with a Mental Note. That is the full value. Ponder. There's 2 Big O's left in their deck, plus 3 Delvers. Shuffled that Ponder. All right, they found one of the Terrors. I'm terrified. Okay, I am gonna Time Twist in their main phase, targeting my Consuming Sepulcher. It'll come back in their end step, and if they counter this, then I'll untap and resolve the one that's in my hand. Deal. That's fine. Drain you for 1. I'll actually do better than that. I will play my Sticky Tongue Sentinel, pick up this one, play this one again, and then immediately recraft it. Cool. Now they don't even know that I have another one. There's 1 Big O left in the deck, plus some Delvers, and Sentinel has Reach. But the first Delver's covered. 16 cards left in their deck. And now I have an attacker. Real damage coming through. Attack you for 3. And this almost has to be worth a counterspell, but I'm happy to get it out of their hand. Oh, it wasn't. Bomb you. Immediately. What a legendary comeback. Let's go. Nile Spellbomb comes in. Duress can punch a hole for me to resolve something important. I actually think Reality Acid's okay here because they are trying to enable big things. And if those big things die, that's great. Suffocating Fumes. This is good against Murmuring Mystic, which they can pivot into out of the sideboard. I don't think I need Blood Fountain, even though it did have a moment of heroism in that game. Clinging to Desperate Life at the very end. I like that Time Twist is an instant, and I can start a fight on my opponent's turn. Dispel can help me win a counter war as well. Yeah, how interested am I in Suffocating Fumes? That's only good if they go wide with Mystic, and it's very good. It's basically the only way I can win if that does happen, but that's a 4-mana spell in a matchup where I'm pretty good at beating on them. Grimbauble only hits Delver in this whole deck. That is an important thing to answer, but it doesn't have to happen immediately or often. The Sentinels and the Refurbished Familiars both turtle up versus Delver pretty well. Crypt Incursion could be unraceable for them. Like, they're doing a lot of self-mill, but I'm trying to interact with their graveyard in a bunch of other ways. The Spell Bombs, the Bajuka Bog, that's all part of the plan. This deck also plays like 16 lands, if memory serves, which means if I can snag one of them with an acid early, that could actually impact their entire life. Do I shave a Cryogen Relic? Do I have time for that sort of thing in this matchup? I mean, stunning one of their creatures is actually big. Okay, fine. It's an acid. That's always going to be the answer. But there's still a lot in. It's still part of the plan. Tithing Blade, one of my better cards here. Keep. That game one was so good. One for the highlight reel. I've got the Delver. Got a Bridge. Delver did not flip. They could have Annuls in their deck. I've seen Force Spike. I've seen a lot of things. I think I'm going to take the turn off to play around Force Spike, which very BoshNRoll play of just refuse to lose to Daze in any format. A Brainstorm means Delver is likely to flip this turn, but it also means they can't Thought Scour in the end step, which means they're not ritualing out their big guys. Flipped Revealing Lorien. Lorien cycled immediately to hit their third land drop. How bad is Counterspell on Tithing Blade here, and can I afford to play around it? Oh, easy game. The answer is bad and yes. Duress you. I hope they either counter this with all their mana, or they only have one Counterspell in hand and can't actually afford to fight over this. They Counterspell, Steel Sabotage, Mental Note, Ponder. Okay, well, they're gonna get a Terror into play, but oh, Steel Sabotage is there too. Dang it. All right, well, multiple problems in that case. They have 1/2. It'll be 3 when Duress resolves. Mental Note 4. I could force them to spend the Counterspell on Tithing Blade, and that taps them out of Mental Note, but then I don't have Tithing Blade, which is my most important card. Okay, I'm going to take Steel Sabotage, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus Mental Note. They can definitely Terror next turn. I don't think they would fight over Prophetic Prism, because who cares? All right, let's flush out the Counterspell. Yep, tough. That Duress was a great draw, though. Yeah, Mental Note and Ponder both pay for themselves. They can have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guaranteed. Yeah, they can just cast all the cards that I know are in their hand this turn. Ponder first. That means they can use Mental Note to clear Ponder cards they don't want. Ponder did not shuffle, hit a land. Interesting. Rather than Mental Note, which is air quotes free, they just did that. Right, I'm going to play Prism, which turns on my Thought Casts, and I'm trying to hit my lands and then somehow stabilize before my life total runs out, which happens very next turn. I missed my land drop completely. All right, this game, 5, 6, 7, 8. I go to 6. If I kill either of their creatures next turn, all right, I guess I have to keep playing, even though that sucks. Mental Note, milled Deep Analysis. Cool trick. Hey, they cast Deep Analysis. Got a grip full of cards. I'm at 5. Oh, I counted wrong. Yeah, that actually matters, because now an Edict resolving doesn't stabilize me. No, definitely not with another creature involved. And dead. A Grim Bubble showing up at the very end when it actually would have lined up against their Delver. That's okay. I don't think I'm going to make any changes here. I like the cards that I have access to. I like that I'm on the play instead of not on the play. Let's do it. Also a cool trick, just in case it matters. If I flicker Reality Acid out with Teferi's Time Twist, and then it enters the battlefield, I need to pick something to equip it to, or enchant it to, because that's how auras work. And I can pick something with Hexproof or Ward, because I'm not targeting it, I'm just selecting it. The one land, nuts. I'm going to keep this. I actually play a high land count, and I think that Nile Spellbomb is good enough on its own that it could buy me a turn or two if I miss. And if I hit the land right away, we're just in business. Opponent kept 7. Come on, land. Shit. Alright, well, this is bad with Force Spike and Steel Sabotage, but if their plan is, like, Mental Note, we can play on. Hey, they tap mana in the end step, then untapped it. What does that mean? Alright, come on, deck. Land. Keep it coming. Oh, yeah. Always had it. Misclicked last turn. That's definitely what happened. I can refurbish Familiar here, so why wouldn't I? Alright, let's go. Let's make you have that counterspell after all. Start testing the counters. This taps me out of draw a card with Nile Spellbomb, but hitting the land means I need that less than I did a minute ago. And if I can start booting counterspells out of their hand, then maybe this Reality Acid has a chance to resolve, and then we twist and salvage, or twist and stalk our way out of here. Thought Scour in response, hit Terror, counterspell. Familiar resolves. Mental Note again over top. And then discard. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I clearly have Denial Spellbomb here. And I'll pass the turn. As much as I'd love to draw a card there, I just set back my opponent by several turns of development, which has to be worth something. Dispel, what's up? All right, Refurbish Familiar, attack. I think I want to play Dreamstalker. Do I? No, I don't. I'm going to pass. I've got enough instants here. Between Time Twist and Dispel, I'm actually doing stuff. I probably would counter an instant Mental Note. Okay. Dispel that Thought Scour. With more mana, I would prefer to fight over Tithing Blade, but I don't have the 3rd mana, so I'm just going to try to collapse their ability to develop a creature, or if they do develop a creature, I want it to cost more than 1 mana to do that. All right, Dispel countered Thought Scour successfully, and then they didn't have additional Scours. Delver. That's covered by Familiar. I don't have to do anything here. Prophetic Prism. Yeah, I'd like to try to draw a card. And this is the type of innocuous thing that they probably wouldn't spend a counterspell on. All right, Sticky Tongue. Delver, trigger. Didn't flip. I'm absolutely blocking if they attack. It's their job to deal damage. It's my job not to die to damage. And yeah, don't want to attack. Not worth it. Cryogen Relic. Yeah, I'm just going to keep jamming these cantrips in. They may eventually decide one is worth a counterspell, and that's a counterspell they won't have for Tithing Blade. Or, more importantly, Reality Acid. They're thinking about it. They have a counterspell here, and they're deciding if this is where they want to fight. Because counterspell is also a mana for the rest of the game, or at least until I attack their graveyard. Like if they counterspell now, they could guarantee play Terror next turn. Okay, and they have decided that's worth it. Delver trigger. Still no flip. 6 mana. They've got a Serpent. And I've got a 2nd Tithing Blade. Okay, I hope they don't have Steel Sabotage or Force Spike. A creature is dead. Long live creatures. And I'm not blocking this turn, so time to serve. Yeah, even on the slow here, missing these land drops has been such a setback. Oh, Lauren revealed. That's a nice reload. But if they miss this land drop, which they did not do. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Serpents and Terrors cost 4. Now they cost 3. In for 6. Deck, please. My family is starving. All right. That's not what I wanted, but I'll try the other Tithing Blade. They need a 1 mana counterspell. And don't seem to have it. They did just massively reload, though, so I don't expect this to hold for very long, but we are treading water pretty well. And there are 20 lands in my deck, and one of them is Bojuka Bog. Yeah, it's turn 8. On average, 2 of the cards I would have drawn since my opening hand would be lands, so I hit 1. I'm a little behind average. Cryptic Serpent, Tolarian Terror. Oh, okay. Seems that Lorien Reveal just drew all of the things that it could draw. Do I want to Time Twist or Dreamstalk? I want to Time Twist. These are all bad versus counter spells, but I'll at least do the thing that kills something faster. All right, I've successfully twisted. I think I have to block. Is that true? Should have done this math before I didn't attack, but if I block the 6 here... Oh, if I draw a land for Ghostly Flicker, I'm just in. So that's what I'm playing to. Yeah, Ghostly Flicker could still win this game. Another Lorien Revealed. Okay, bouncing my creature to push damage. And having Delver. Okay, that's probably going to be good enough. Yeah, alright. What do I need to happen here? Vault of Whispers, right on time. Okay. Yeah, the Delver got it over. They got aggressive right at the very end. I'll show them how close they were to death before I concede. Look at that shit. All right. And the 3rd land on turn 10, not ideal. I still stand by the keep, and I was right that we could survive a few extra turns missing a land drop, but 8 extra turns missing a land drop was too many. I think literally if I find this land 1 turn earlier and I can do one more thing this game at any point, we are fine. But yeah, tight one. On to the next round.
This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there.
On the play in round 3, gonna keep this hand. It's got enough mana to work. The opponent just offered to split because they're 4-0. I'm 1-1. This is not how leagues work. Sorry, we got a battle. Preordain. Gonna familiar for all of the next many turns. I discarded an island. Bunch of islands, some snow covered, some not. Opponent is... okay. They're playing High Tide. That's certainly what's happening. And they are splicing Psychic Puppetry to tap my land and draw a card. That's fine. Didn't even flinch on that shit. Alright, so they're on High Tide. That play did require me to take a turn off my Sticky Tongue, but I am applying pressure. This matchup's probably not great unless I can really start aciding their lands and stuff. Alright, Relic, draw a card. Oh, another familiar. Let's go. Punch that right in the head. Yeah, so High Tide needs a critical mass of spells to play and lands to tap. Those are the two metrics that matter in their deck. And they've discarded 2 lands to my familiars, which doesn't seem like it matters, but those are land drops they might not have, and that's 2 mana they won't have when they cast High Tide. And I'm just trying to bleed them out before they get where they're going. Ghostly Flicker, hello. Hello. Alright, I'm going to attack for 6, and I think I want a Frog plus Familiar this turn, and then Ghostly Flicker next. Get my Familiar back. Familiar again. Oh, they're just dead on board, so they're going this turn one way or another. They're going or they're conceding. Those are the 2 outs. They have 5 lands, 3 cards in hand. Okay. It looks like they're going to tap my 3/3. Okay. Right now, I know they have 2 cards in hand, and one of them is Psychic Puppetry. If I flicker now, I don't have... yeah, my attack's not lethal anyway, so I'm going to guarantee they have to lose their Puppetry when I flicker them here. And that's one of their key combo cards. Cool. All right. Taking game 1 versus High Tide feels good. Now I bring in Dispel and Duress. Sometimes they use the graveyard, sometimes they don't. I certainly don't need these Tithing Blades. Sometimes they board in a creature, but that might be Murmuring Mystic or something like that. I have Cast Downs. Yeah, I think this is all I really got. Just the hand disruption plus bringing in a little bit extra. The Ambusher could hit them harder. Like if I ambush picking up a familiar, I'm attacking for 3 instead of 2, and I get an extra discard. It's probably better than something like Suffocating Fumes. Okay. Yeah, I'll just bring in this creature that might randomly hit a little bit harder sometimes. Okay, this is a familiar and Thoughtcast. I am going to keep. It doesn't have any specifically banger stuff, but I'm going to hope that their setup is kind of slow, which it usually is. Radiant Fountain, that's definitely for this matchup. Their Preordain went top. Okay, they're puppeting me, plus Reach Through Mist right now. That's fine, I was not going to play spells this turn. 3 mana, Merchant Scroll, grab that High Tide, get set up for the future. I did not draw Duress, unfortunately, which is the card I want. I guess what I'm doing here is playing Familiar and Nile Spellbomb. And they may or may not care about the graveyard, but here we are. Another scroll. Are we investing more in the future? Up here. So they're setting up. Like, Duress would be insane here. Oh my god. Just shout it out and it happens. That's how Magic the Gathering works. Give me that heckin' High Tide out of your hand. Oh, you got 2 of them. Damn it. All right. Now I have to think a little bit. Okay, so the Pier is the one that keeps the party going. Puppetry, though pure puppetry. I think I'm going to take a Psychic Puppetry and game on. If they run out of mana, that's okay. All right, what can I do here? I can Thoughtcast with 1 mana still left. I could play the Sticky Tongue Sentinel. All right, I'm going to Thoughtcast with a mana left. Refurbish Familiar. All right, well, let's make this even harder. Dumped one of the High Tides. And I'll play out my Misfault Bridge and hope I'm not dead. All right, Peer Through Depths. They got to rebuild here. Found another scroll. Scroll for Puppetry. That makes me feel like I took the right thing. Grim Bauble. I should have boarded that out for sure. Attack for 4. And then, this is interesting. If I set them back a land drop, that actually does matter for their deck. All right, I'll play Radiant Fountain, gain my precious life. Aether Trade Winds, bounce Familiar, and land. Yeah, is it more important for me to set them back a land or to add 3 power to the board? I actually think it's the land. Bounce your thing and my thing. Familiar you. They could just discard the land, but then they only have 3. And everyone matters. They did, in fact, discard the land. And I'm going to leave a mana up because I don't think Blood Fountain matters. And them at least having to think about some other stuff might matter. Okay, pieces of the puzzle. Top 5, put 2 instants or sorceries in your hand. They chose Ideas Unbound and Brainstorm. I am going to Spellbomb them for the card now, and there is a Deep Analysis in the graveyard, so I've gotten at least some value. Reality Acid. Oh no, I'm a mana short. Tragic. Tragic. What a beating. All right. Attack you for 4. And Sentinel. Pick up Familiar. Familiar. Discarded Lorien Revealed. And I guess I play out the Nile Spellbomb. That's so tragic. I don't think they could ever win on 2 lands, but 3 might be good enough. I've tried to keep it slim if they squeeze through here. It's a testament to the gas of the deck. Okay, Brainstorm to start off is good. Any turn that doesn't start with High Tide means they're not confident that they have it yet. And then any mana they spend before they High Tide is 2 mana they don't have later. Okay, Brainstorm go. Seed of the Synod. Okay, they have Puppetry, Reach Revealing Puppetry, attack with my Familiars. Opponents at 6. They are now dead on board. I think I should Spellbomb to draw a card, because there are good hits in my deck. That's not one of them. I am going to play out Grim Bauble for the Surveil, even though I'm not going to get another turn. Oh, that stinks. The Reality Acid 1 mana short. They're definitely not winning this game with fewer cards than, or with 2 lands in play. But okay, can they figure it out from here? Ideas, Revealing Puppetry, Preordain, bottom, good news for me. Hidden Strings, untaps 2 permanents, Lorien, 1 mana floating, and they've used their land drop. That means they can't Puppetry again. So, are they dead? Did we do it? Oh yeah! 2-0 versus High Tide. That's a relentless amount of discard. On to the next one. The BoshNRoll channel is proudly partnered with the Resleevables. In this YouTube series, hosts Patrick Sullivan and Patrick Chapin go set by set through Magic's past, leveraging their decades of experience as Pro Tour players and game designers to analyze the good, the bad, and the ugly of Magic's history. Each episode is a deep dive into the facts, mechanics, cycles, trivia, decks of the time, and historical context of the set. The hosts dig into notable cards of the era and their lasting impact today. Each set gets an award show where the hosts pick their favorite cards for categories such as Best, Worst, and Weirdest. And finally, give a letter grade for the set's overall success. Whether you want a history lesson or a nostalgia hit, The Resleevables has it at youtube.com/theresleevables. I am on the play in round number 4. I'm going to keep. Been enjoying these turn 2 refurbished familiars on the play all day. Maybe this is the round where I trigger a Reality Acid. It actually would have won me the last game. I'm just saying. Yeah, we're against some red deck. To be determined what flavor. Oh, sick. I was going to play Nile Spellbomb, but this Grimbauble might be better. Anything that kills anything is good for me. Refurbish Familiar. Casting 5 mana worth of spells on turn 2 in your all commons deck feels pretty good. I hope they discard an actual card, like Chain Lightning. Okay. They are the Madness build, but they discarded an actual card. Like Vampire's Kiss is not something that functions out of the graveyard. I'll take it. Suspended Highway Robbery. Or whatever it's called when you do this. Hell yeah. I do like drawing Refurbish Familiar. And I'm kind of hoping they drew a snacker that I can snag with this Bojuka Bog. No such luck. Very well. It's still the land I have to play. And I have another piece of Graveyard Hate if they come up with one. Attack. You know, in building this deck, the flex slots, the Tithing Blades in large numbers, that was specifically for Tolarian Terrors, the Graveyard Hate in large numbers, that was for decks like this, the heavy life gain in the sideboard. I think, not to, stroke my own ass, but I think I did a pretty good job considering the various slots that I want to use and how I want to use them in this deck. Black Mage's Rod, hell yeah. Okay, so Tithing Blade will have function. All right, Blade, take out that hero. I'm not interested. Faithless Looting. And I do have black open to draw actual cards off this Nile Spellbomb. Not like this, I won't. I think I am going to Spellbomb in the end step, though. I would like to hit a land drop, and now Faithless Looting is something with real value. Okay, I'm taking a chunk of damage from these imps, but my board can stabilize them. Bomb you. I'd like a card. Cryogen Relic. Another Spellbomb, sure. Alright. Tithing Blade. Replacement Spellbomb. Leave my blocker back. Pass. I am the control deck. Looting. Alright, there is a snacker in the graveyard now, but they've already drawn 3 cards this turn. I don't have to worry about that right now. Flashback looting immediately. That is not how snacker works. You can have that. And they are tapped out of any imps or tempers that might roll off here. I had to discard an actual Lightning Bolt. That means the card in their hand is better than Lightning Bolt, but I'm also very happy to see Lightning Bolt discarded. Easiest block of my life. And what do we got here? Reality Acid, oh my god. And they have a Rakdos Carnarium in play. I'm going to draw a card with Cryogen Relic, and then figure out if I have anything else to do in my life. Okay, cool. Would I rather draw a card off of Nile Spellbomb or have Prophetic Prism in play? I think easily I would rather Nile Spellbomb. And I don't have to do it right away because the snacker won't trigger until they draw the 3rd card, and then I can bomb them when they do that. Okay, this one does not make bloods. They've drawn 2 cards this turn. I'm at 12, they're at 19. I'm not going to bomb in the end step, because if they can draw a card in instant speed, which they can with cards like Grab the Prize, that's not what I want to be doing with my life. Prophetic Prism, land, and pass. I go down to 9. They've got 2 cards left. I do need to get something going here. I'm going to Spellbomb. Or, no, I'm going to Relic. Relic with no target, leaving up Spellbomb. They have too many ways to draw cards at instant speed for me to want to risk them getting snackers into play when I don't have to do that. Ghostly Flicker. All right, now I care about very little. Tanglepool Bridge, get in. And I'm going to pass the turn. Poor Reality Acid. I just need something to enable it, and I will blow up that Carnarium so fast. Vampire's Kiss. I'm at 7, and they make 2 bloods. That makes it very easy for them to draw 3 cards in a turn. Alms of the Vein. Yikes. I'm going to be at 4. I don't like my spot anymore. Okay, do I want to flicker in the end step to draw a card? I could target Bojuka Bog and Prophetic Prism. Yeah, I guess I got to do something. They're using their last blood in response. Sneaky Snacker triggers. Spellbomb in response. Reality Acid. Hell yeah. Or whatever. Alright, Bog you, I draw a card. I don't like it, team. Teferi's Time Twist. That means I can blow up several of their lands this turn. Alright, it's acid time. A Reality Acid, the Carnarium. I'm probably still going to lose this game, but I'm going to make it weird as hell. I'd like to return a permanent I control. We have officially acided 1 permanent in 4 rounds. I'm at 4 versus a burn deck. If I can ever get a turn to breathe where I can start flipping these Tithing Blades, that's a step in the right direction. I'm dead to any spell, including that one. All right, all right. All right. Tough guy. Come see what someone looks like with a sideboard. Ambusher, Weather, Hydroblasts all coming in. Cast downs, some blades. Yeah, this is the matchup where I cut a bunch of reality acids. I have acided a permanent. You can't be mad at me. And yeah, the passive life gain on the blade is not nothing, but I also don't really want to be killing their permanents like that. Or I want to be gaining more life than that. Trade wins. Okay, here we go. This is the plan. This is so close. I need a mana, and it needs to be the correct color. I love the Radiant Fountain. I don't like anything else that's going on. All right, I have to mulligan. Here we go. Keep and bottom. Oh no, I like every card. What do I do when I like every card? Grim Bobble's probably the worst. Or is it Spellbomb? I have more graveyard hate than I have cheap spot removal, so I'm actually gonna bottom the Spellbomb. I could bottom the Weather the Storm because I can't cast it, but I gotta believe that that will do something someday, or else why is it in my deck? It's a very important card to have at least one of some of the time. All right, Radiant Fountain. I'll just get it going. And I am going to Cryogen Relic immediately. I'll take this setup turn when I can get it, and then hold up Hydroblast and stuff after that. I kept the Grim Bobble if they develop an Imp this turn. Vampire Kiss, fine. Radiant Fountain already doing its job. Okay, I could Thoughtcast with a Black Up. I guess that's how I should do this. All right, passing the turn. I got my mana set up for a little while. I've got really good flicker targets. Draw 2 and gain 2 for 3 mana. I would play that card in this format, or in this matchup. Plotted a Highway Robbery. That's a good spot to put a Hydroblast. Is this going to be a good turn to Weather the Storm? I think it is. I'm going to pass, because they're probably going to Robbery. I'm going to Hydroblast the Robbery. Then if anything else happens after that, Weather the Storm becomes awesome. Faithless Looting. Alms of the Vein. This is 2 spells. They've already drawn 3 for Snacker. Storm is 2. Please play Highway Robbery. Or like anything else. Yeah, if they don't do anything, I'll just flicker my Relic and Fountain. This is still awesome value. Like, they can't kill me from 15 here. Sure. Oh, if I had left the green up. Wow, that's such a spew. The land comes back untapped. I could gain 18 life right now. All right, yeah, I messed up. Everyone who's yelling at their screens is completely right. Dumbass shit, for real. All right, I will now pass the turn after throwing away what certain victory. Yeah, the land coming back untapped. I didn't even think about it, obviously, or else I would have done it. All right, I am going to counter target spell if it's red on this Faithless Looting. Hopefully that will get this Highway Robbery on the stack. And then I'll also Hydroblast that. And then I'll take this opportunity to gain trillions of life. Another looting. I am going to counter this one as well. This leaves the Highway Robbery still there, but this is a big Storm turn, whether they go for it or not. 1 card left in hand. Robbery's on the stack. They're choosing to sacrifice a land. Good call. Snacker's back. And end step, I'll gain 18. Pew, 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 pew. And what a sweet card. Draw for turn. Grim Bobble. Kill the Snacker. And I'll make the land drop that lets me Surveil 2 if I want to do that, which I probably do. I don't want to put Reality Acid just randomly on one of their lands because we've seen Rakdos Carnarium, and if they pick that up and Acid dies for no value, this is the one Acid that's still in my deck. And having gained 29 life with the ability to gain a lot more still floating. This might be a game where Reality Acid matters. Right, Kitchen Imp and Sneaky Snacker have arrived. I take 1 from the land. Right, Imp's coming in. End step, I'm going to Relic to stun the Snacker, Because if I can kill one of these things, I'd rather kill the imp. Oh, I can just stun them both now. Cool. I think I can do better than gain 9 somewhere down the road. Ooh, Bajuka Bog. Okay, Relic. I'm going to stun the imp now. Refurbish Familiar. What's up? Refurbish Familiar on a turn where they're tapped out, which means they can't madness me. And if they discard a snacker or something, I'm going to bog them anyway. Red Elemental Blast. Okay. And bog you. Okay. Pass. Grab the prize, discarding Alms of the Vein. 23 to 28. High Octane Magic. And land goes the best they got after all that. But I'm really not doing anything here. This is rough. Okay, I think it's time. I was going to say it's time to invest the Reality Acid, but I don't even think that's true because if I draw a room, like I'd rather trade with Kitchen Imp in combat, which is also the thing I would put Acid on. All right, blood discarding a swamp. Blood discarding a mountain. Vampire Kiss. I'm at 19. Storm is 1. 2 bloods in the bank. I will block the Kitchen Imp and take 2 from the other one. And I think it's time to Surveil 2. Thoughtcast, hell yeah. Alright, Vault in the graveyard, Thoughtcast on top. Thoughtcast, Storm is 1. Refurbish Familiar, Storm is 2. Discarded Lightning Bolt, that's scary. Thoughtcast, Storm is 3. Dreamstalker. Well, I mean, that's a thing to do with Reality Acid, but I just literally have better things to do. So, Dreamstalker. Pick up Refurbish Familiar. Familiar, Storm is 5. And that's why Reality Acid's not good in this matchup, if anyone needed to be convinced. All right, looting away, grab the prize in response. And discarding Vampire Kiss. And then Weather the Storm for another 18 life. Just pad me back up here. Both players over 30 on turn 9. And pass. We both have 33 cards in our deck. We're both at 30 life. This is beautiful. I am not going to trade with this, not at 35 life. I would rather pay out better if I draw a Flicker. And I am also winning the damage race. As hilarious as that is. Opponent attacking. They've not used their blood yet. Hydroblast. That one's good. It will someday find a target, I'm sure. Seed of the Synod, pass. I'm not playing this Reality Acid till I can do something with it. And even then, I'll probably just bounce Refurbish Familiar, if I'm being real. All right, they found a second snacker. Suddenly, the race is a little more complicated if they can trigger this thing. The race is also more complicated because they burn in their deck and I don't. Tithing Blade. Okay. I drew a card that's good. And there is a Refurbished Familiar in my graveyard to craft with. We can start the drain. Now the race is heavily, heavily in my favor. Oh no, they're doing stuff. They started to spend mana, then changed their mind. Island, pass. Desert pokes me for 1. My Hydroblast will counter anything that triggers the snackers. Any Faithless Looting, anything else. Another Weather the Storm. Okay. Now the race all the way in my direction. I'm back to 30. Vault of Whispers from my hand. Something's happening. Oh my god. A legendary thing. 2/2 Flash Flying Mayhem. Okay. So is that going to block my Refurbished Familiar or touch bots with my Dreamstalker? Or Dream... What are you called? Yeah, Dreamstalker. Flash Flying Mayhem. Okay. The answer, it appears, is nothing. It's going to do nothing. I approve of that. Faithless Looting. I mean, this is an awkward one to counter because they just get it again. Okay, fine. I lied when I said I would counter anything like that. I will just deal with the snackers some other way. Fiery Temper triggered. I'm going to see where that goes. If it targets Familiar, I think I'll counter it. If it doesn't, all right. I'm going to counter Fiery Temper. If they're worried about my creatures, then I want to protect them. If that went face, I think I would have ignored it. Oh, hell yeah. We got a counter war going on a turn where I'm going to storm out again. But they suddenly have a massive battlefield to my almost nothing. All right, Danger Zone. I will gain another 18 in the end step. Let's keep it going. I've enjoyed this so far. Drawing the Archaeomancer here would be sick. Recur Ghostly Flicker, which can then Weather the Storm every turn. 44 to 13, about to be 45 to 12. Come on, anything. All right. That does qualify as anything. Familiar. Fiery Temper. They got me. Are they going to target the familiar or go face? Familiar it is. And all of their creatures fly, so I will attack. They're on a 6-turn clock, and I'm on a lot more. Okay, never mind. My creature is deceased. I guess I should Reality Acid one of these things. They are pretty comparable, honestly. Okay. I will target the Spider-Man, whatever this actually is. And that's because Kitchen Imp costs more to recast if I draw like Aether Trade Winds and bounce Imp and Acid. That's somewhere I want to be. All right, 45 to 12. Faithless Looting on the flashback. Discarded Faithless Looting and grab the prize. That's a lot of spells flying around. Flashing back Looting again immediately. Alms of the Vein. All right, come on, Consuming Sepulcher. Let's keep it going. All right, deck. There's so many big draws in here. Can we find some? Not that one. All right, I'm not going to play it out, though. I want them thinking about what I could possibly have. Grab the prize, discarding Alms of the Vein. Yeah, they are determined to deal all 45 of this damage before they run out of cards in their deck. And I think they're on a good pace to do it. I'm at 22. And they're back up to 17. Reality Acid kills the Spider-Man next turn. Even if nothing else happens there. Come on, deck. A good card. A Thoughtcast. A Ghostly Flicker. Okay. That can hit Bajuka Bog and Consuming Sepulcher. Or Radiant Fountain Consuming Sepulcher. All right, that one is actually pretty big, but I can't flicker the Tithing Blade back into play until Reality Acid has run its course. Or else I lose the acid for no value. Just spent 3 mana for no reason, which is frequently how that card plays out in practice. Okay, Reality Acid, it's your time. We've killed 2 permanents with Reality Acid in this league so far. One of them the old-fashioned way. Hell yeah, we did it. Something died. And can I draw something that pays me out? Dreamstalker. Okay. That's actually sick. I can Dreamstalk, pick up Tithing Blade, and then I have multiple exciting things to do with Ghostly Flicker. I've got options. Passing the turn. I might need this 2 life. I might be worried about their graveyard. Right now I'm just going to take 4 and clench. 12. Cryogen Relic. All right. Something that does something. That gains me 2 life at minimum. Ooh, the Sentinel. The Sentinel. We have a reach creature. Sir, a reach creature has hit the battlefield. Pick up Tithing Blade. Tithe you. And then if I stun the Imp, I still have enough mana to flicker. I'll take the stun. Now I will play out a land. And attack. We're in combat. Bonus of 14. Fiery Temper my Frog. Do I want to interact with this? I could flicker Frog and Bajuka Bog right now. Yeah, I think that's good enough. Frog and Bog. This will at least cost them a 2nd burn spell to get through this, and they lose their graveyard regardless. Okay. Bog you, and what do I want to pick up? Probably Tithing Blade. Or is it Radiant Fountain? I think it's Blade. All right, the Snackers are gone. Whether I lose at 2 life or less, picking up this Radiant Fountain versus this Tithing Blade is the final frontier of this game right now. Got a deck full of good cards. All right, always happy for a redraw. Want to make sure I don't deck myself, I guess. Hell yeah. All right, Tithing Blade. Kill this Imp. I'm going to attack for 4. See if they interact in combat. Like if they pick off a Frog, that would be great for me. And I'm going to play another Frog. And I think I'm actually picking up Radiant Fountain this time. It's going to come down to burn. I think I have the battlefield under control. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Going to craft the blade back into the Sepulcher. Everything matters. All right, Hardcasting Kitchen Imps, let's go. Reach creatures. Too good. This opponent knows that it has reach, unfortunately. Drain you for 1. Yo. Familiar. All right, they did just value out a Snacker. All right, I am just going to put them to dead on board with the biggest attack I can give. I still have a blocker. 12 cards left in their deck, 2 in their hand, 15 life to get through. 1/5 on the ground, 2/1 in the air. Passing the turn. 9 minutes on my clock, 10 minutes on theirs for game 3. I don't even want to show them the Archaeomancer if I don't have to. A lightning bolt. Okay. You're still dead. What a battle. Okay, here we go. Game 3. Is there anything I wish I had that game? And we saw a bunch of Pyroblasts. And Dispel has a bunch of targets in the deck. It also has a bunch of stuff it doesn't hit very well. What would I cut for Dispel? Probably one of the Nile spell bombs. I have 2 spell bombs and a bog for Graveyard Hate. Plus all the ways to flicker the bog. Do I think that's better? And sometimes just drawing a card's pretty important. The Crypt Incursion's not in. It probably should be. I think I did the same thing when I played against this deck earlier. Just realized this after one sideboard game had already concluded. Suffocating Fumes can clear out 1/1s. That's Epicures, that's Snackers. Yeah, maybe I don't actually want Fumes. And I could get Dispel in over that. Alright, I'm still keeping the faith on the 1 Reality Acid. I left it in, and it did kill 1 creature in a sideboard game. Alright, I'll keep this. It is slow in the paint, but I gotta have some faith. I've got my trusty Radiant Fountain and the Ghostly Flicker to go off. Splinter Twin. Alright, they've got a Black Mage who is going to get Grim Bobbled. Ooh, alright. I guess I'll bluff Hydroblast for as long as I can. Right, bobble your creature. Ooh, Rakdos Carnarium versus the Reality Acid deck. A bold gambit. Okay. I can get Dreamstalker into play this turn, picking up my Grim Bobble while still holding up Hydroblast. Or I could save that to pick up something else later. I think I would like to just pick up my Grim Bobble and be on the board. Picking up Radiant Fountain is really the other thing I would do with that, but I have the Flicker and the Archaeomancer here. My endgame is locked if I get that far. I am going to counter target spell if it's red. Fight over one of these enablers if I can. Okay. Fought over the enabler successfully. Just replay the Gorge and pass. I like that. Radiant Fountain gains some life. Pew, 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 pew. Attack with Dreamstalker. I could either trade wins my Radiant Fountain and the Rakdos Carnarium right now, but I think I'd rather fight over a permanent. Fire Temper to the face right now. That's fine. Kitchen Imp. That resolves. They know I have Grim Bobble, so this is a temporary visitor to the battlefield. They're just taking the 4-mana deal too, which sometimes you got to take what you can get. I keep drawing lands that aren't Bojuka Bog, which is great because I don't want that in play yet. And green mana revealed. Now they have to worry about those weather the storms that have come their way. Okay, this is actually sick. All right, I really hope my opponent does not have Pyroblast right now. I'm going to flicker Radiant Fountain and Grim Bobble. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I love Ghostly Flicker. What a card. Attack with Dream Stalker. I could Archaeomance back the Flicker right now, but I would prefer to do that when I can flicker it right away. Though I suppose it's not that big of a deal because most of the removal is instants anyway. And this puts them in the position where they have to sorcery speed Lightning Bolt Archaeomancer if they draw it. And if they don't, I'll just have the lock in forever. Hell yeah. They're just passing the turn. They got nothing. Thoughtcast, Storm is 1. Sticky Tongue Sentinel. Attack for 3, or 2. 2. Settle down, me. Alright, Sticky Tongue Sentinel is going to bounce Radiant Fountain. Then I'll play Radiant Fountain with Ghostly Flicker still up, and pass. I got all the tools. Ready for anything. I guess I should actually play out the Bojuka Bog so Ghostly Flicker can target it. The one thing I'm not ready for is to fight their graveyard at instant speed. Okay, just hardcast Alms of the Vein. Deal. And do I want to start getting sweaty? I am going to try getting sweaty here. And what I mean by that is end step, Flicker, Archaeomancer, and Radiant Fountain, which plays into removal, but I really don't think they have removal. And if they don't have removal, I get to gain 2 life for free. And they don't have removal, by the way. Bajuka Bogyu. And now I have double flicker up. This rules so hard. This would be a great time to find a Reality Acid, the one that's in the deck. Start killing their lands. Though they have so many. They've grabbed the prize. Discarding Alms of the Vein. It's going to have to be okay. I have no viable responses to that. All right, the Jaggerbush. Jagged Jaggerbush. Flicker my gain 2 life loop. My infinite money glitch in the end step. I guess I'll just go again. I'm pretty sure they don't have anything. Oh yeah. This is what I dream of when somebody says to me Magic the Gathering and my positive brain chemicals fire. This is what I'm imagining happening. All right, pass. I can gain 4 life and instant speed at any time. I can kill a 2/2 or 4/4 at any time. If they do draw a removal spell, I'm actually good with the second flicker. Oh no, a removal spell? You don't say. Okay, so I can pick a different thing to flicker this time. I guess I'll flicker the Sticky Tongue. Okay, Archaeomancer, get back Ghostly Flicker. Sticky Tongue, give me back my Archaeomancer so I can get the other flicker back. Because this one's gonna gain 2 life and then I don't get it back. But I don't need the 1 point in play as much as I need Archaeomancer in my hand or available to me. All right, here he comes. Archaeomancer's back. Give me back my Ghostly Flicker. It's probably better to just get back Hydroblast at this point and lock up my profits, but I am having the time of my life. My clock just went under 5 minutes, but that's fine. I don't need that long. I am not going to flicker now. I think I'm far enough ahead and they're dead that I don't need to mess around with that. They're not going to get me from 22, which is the number they need to deal right now. And I will add this Blood Fountain to play. That doesn't affect what I'm capable of. And that one of Radiant Fountain for the tech dominating this matchup. We're 3-1, right? Wow. What a real record with a fun deck. On to the final round. We're a few rounds into the video. If you're still here and having fun, remember to hit that subscribe button. And if you want to play what I'm playing, use code BOSH for 5% off your order at toamagic.com. Eternal lives here. I'm on the play in the final round. Positive record locked, playing for the bread and butter 4-1. I'm going to keep this hand. It's got lands and colors. Without an untapped land, this Cryogen Relic's going to come down a little slow, but depending on what the matchup is, that may or may not matter. A swamp. Oh, okay. We're playing against the 4-land Spy deck, which is a deck that I personally don't have a lot of experience with. I do have a lot of Graveyard Hate in my deck, though, in my 75. So basically, this is Oops All Spells as far as the Pauper format can take it. And my opponent would like to cast Balustrade Spy next turn and start milling themselves. There are still 2 lands in the deck. The win cons are the Undercity Giant guy. And I'm just trying to rip into Graveyard Hate before it's too late. Opponent asked, is Legacy this bad now? Come on, folks. People ask me that all the time when I play Pauper, and I just like Pauper. I like it all the time. Okay, I think there is 1 land left in their deck right now. They could also just ram Avenging Hunter here and tutor that last land. So now they have the initiative going, and I'm dead if they cast Balustrade Spy next turn. So all the things have happened, and I did not find Graveyard Hate. Therefore, what do I want to do? I could either trade wins one of their creatures. They can play around that, but just going to hope they don't, I guess. Hold on. Or no, I don't have enough mana to do everything I want to do. Okay, I'm just going to pass here. They are forging onto the Hunter. It's bigger now. If they go Wall of Roots minus both Wall of Roots Balustrade Spy, then I can't get them to less than 4 creatures, or less than 3 creatures for Dread Return. If they pump the brakes, fearing a counter spell, but they have 2 spies, so they don't even really need to do that. And opponent does seem to know how to play their deck, which is bad news for me. Okay, they went with Lead the Stampede. That's good news for me. Saying there's a chance. They're probably not going to pick lands. Or no, this is just creatures. That's how this card works. 1, 2, 3, 4. They hit 4. Saga Wildling. Search for a basic land. I thought there were 4 lands in this deck. Are there more than that? Are there 6? Are there 5? Who knows? It's all made up. I'm going to cast down this Avenging Hunter. Come on, Spellbomb. Tithing Blade. That does kill a creature. What else can I do? Yeah, I'm kind of gated on both black and raw mana sources. Right, Tithing Blade. And I think they're fine here, but I'm trying. I'm trying my darndest. Yeah, I guess Dreamstalker should draw a card. Okay. Basically dead. Straight to the sideboard we go. They have 6 mana here to play Overgrown Battlement plus Balustrade Spy, which is enough to do what they got to do. Just let me see that this can't whiff, and then I'll be content. All right, it cannot whiff. GG's. Cast the Dread Return. Let's get out of here. All right. Nile Spellbomb, Crypt Incursion, Duress. These are all cards I want. Tithing Blade, not so much. Suffocating Fumes, definitely no. Reality Acid blowing up their small number of lands. Maybe. Grim Bauble is a no. Yeah, I think this is the plan now. All right, Tithing Blade actually seems okay, because they have all those walls that they need for both mana and Dread Return count. Yeah, maybe it's just Blood Fountain, and I'll just bring in these cards. Graveyard Hate and Hand Disruption. No lands. 2 Spellbombs, gonna mulligan. Okay, I have Acid. I'm gonna keep and bottom a Reality Acid. I have Acid and stuff to do with my Acid. I love doing Acid. All right, put one of those on the bottom and pass. I do need this game to last at least 4 turns. Forest, Land Grant reveals all these cards. Cerulean Caretaker coming in here. All right, there's my 3rd land. Refurbish Fam. Discarding the Dread Return is kind of doing them a favor. But we got to start somewhere. I'm not going to not cast my cards. Overgrown Battlement is in. That casts the Roost Seek, which tutors a land. Reality Acid on Overgrown Battlement. I believe that is the more important permanent they control. Can we Acid once, or did they rip Spy, and is it good enough? Just value Spy, hope it gets there. I hope it doesn't, frankly. Great Creeper Vine. There's going to be 1 land left in their deck after this resolves. Mesmeric Fiend. Haha! I have 2 of the card. I have 2 of the card that matters. I think I know their whole hand right now. It's Troll, Wildling, Forest. Okay. The Vanishing begins. Nile Spellbomb. Hook it to my veins. I will play Nile Spellbomb. Buy myself a little bit of time here. And then I guess I'm just going to pass the turn, actually. Because with the Mesmeric Fiend in play, I would like to bounce that in the end step so I have trade wins to go again. But I guess Reality Acid costs 3, so what's my hope here? What are my hopes and dreams? They're going to start casting Dragons and Trolls. Oh my. Troll of Khazad-dûm is here. Quirion Ranger is here. I don't think this Fiend's going to attack. That would be suicidal. Okay, end of turn. Trade wins my Acid and your Troll. This kills Overgrown Battlement. Troll's back in their hand. Cast down. I like that card a lot. Do I want to Acid the Mesmeric Fiend? I think I do. Let it be known that will die eventually. And I would block Quirion Ranger if it attacks, so I'll leave Refurbish Familiar alone. Why is my Mesmeric Fiend tapped? What is that? The Caretaker taps another creature. Okay. In my head, this was just Llanowar Elves. I was like, what just happened? All right, we've got the Saucy Cast Down for Troll. Prophetic Prism. That makes it even saucier. Cast down the Troll. Danglepool Bridge. Pass the turn. There is still this dragon in their hand. They can drop a 3/3 at some point. This is the big turn to draw something that bounces my Acid. Lead the Stampede. Here come 5 cards. Spy, Ranger, another Wildling. They could play Spy, target me, just to get something on the board. It is a 2/3 flying, when all else is going wrong. Spy resolves. Targeting me. They milled Cryogen Relic and Vault of Whispers. A pretty low-impact mill, but a 2/3 actually rules this battlefield. Dread Return, targeting what? Troll of Khazad-dûm? Okay, so they just sacked everything to do this. I think this list usually has 2 Dread Returns in it. I'm about to get back my Aether Trade wins. So I don't think I have to sweat this troll right now. Okay, sure. Troll's in play. Thought cast, let's go. Another Reality Acid. Suck it, Troll of Khazad-dûm. Radiant Fountain. And Reality Acid on Troll with Aether Trade Winds in my hand. I will take 8 this turn from combat and then begin my stabilization party, I hope. I wonder if Reality Acid has ever been enchanted on a Balustrade Spy in the history of Magic the Gathering before. Aquarian Ranger. And here comes a Wildling. When this enters, they gain 3 life, and it's a 3/3 flyer. Okie dokie. All right, deck, big rips. Hot ones. Oh my god. Okay, hot rip confirmed. I'm going to bounce Reality Acid and Sagu Wildling. This kills the troll. The Wildling's back in their hand. And I could put Acid on their swamp. I can't target their forest because of Aquarian Ranger. I could also just sit on this Reality Acid until that Sagu Wildling comes back around. Yeah, I think I'm just going to block Balustrade Spy, Ghostly Flicker, targeting Familiar, and Prism this turn for a redraw and a discard. Just take my 2-for-1. Generous End. That one is much bigger than the Wildling. I'm glad I saved my Acid for that. Okay, block and Flicker. Target Familiar and Prism. I draw Duress, and you discard Lotleth Giant. Duress is not going to hit, and I know it. I think that's true. Okay, so Lotleth Giant accounted for. There's 3 creatures over there. All right, I'm going to put Acid on the end, because that's going to have to happen, even if it's not enough. I'll play Vault of Whispers, and I'm at the point where I should almost YOLO Spellbomb just for a spell to cast, but I think I'm going to wait 1 turn for that. Their hand is 2 Wildlings and 2 Unknowns. This is 7. This is half my life total. I still believe in Refurbished Familiar as a permanent I might want to have in play. Okay, I'm at 7, and they're going to play a Wildling. And I'm going to Spellbomb in the end step because I need to rip a card. All right, I need some action here. Going to Spellbomb them, even though that makes the corpse thing much worse. Oh, hell yeah. Well, there's a Teferi's Twist. I could do it now, but then Reality Acid won't come back until my end step. I could kill the Ent in combat. That's actually way better. I'm going to go to my turn. All right, well, might as well fire one of these off and look at their hand. That probably doesn't have a spell in it. 2 Spies and a Wildling. Okay, so I may have died. All right, yeah, sometimes their hand is just 2 Spies when you need it to be anything else. Okay, I will pass the turn and be deceased. Okay, they're gaining 3 life with their food in the end step. Is there still 1 land in the deck, or not? Probably not. Right, Teferi's Time Twist on Reality Acid. Or at least doing cool shit. And there's no block here that will save me. And I'm also going to die to their combo. Well, I had a phenomenal outing for Reality Acid in a losing match in the final round of this thing. Okay, they're just going for Wildling. That gives me another chance. A chance to play on. Rather than them just going for the combo. Okay, so this is going to come back. And I'm going to put it on the untapped Wildling. And try to rip a banger. Tithing Blade, oh no. Yeah, well, they just sacked the one that has action on it. All right, GG's. The Reality Acid Gaming kicking in at the very end. Good for nothing, but we had a moment. Okay, a positive record with this Bug Reality Acid, air quotes, Pox deck. I think my feedback after trying this is that Bug Bounce might be a thing, but Reality Acid is not really involved. Or maybe you could play 1 or 2 if you like this sort of thing kicking in, if you like having and understand that I say this word with love, a janky engine that you could kick in. But having 4 of these, it was, I mean, throughout the league, and I didn't build the deck knowing this until I played through it, but it was very clear, and we can all agree that Reality Acid was the worst thing going on in this deck by a mile. And all the other stuff, the bounce recursion engine, not that bouncing Refurbished Familiar and Tithing Blade is a novel strategy, but having those things inside of this Thoughtcast shell with Ghostly Flicker endgame, tons of graveyard hate, tons of specific hate tuned towards the metagame, I was actually really happy with this deck. And as far as where you want to take this, viewer or hunter, whoever wants to work on this next after I pass it off out into the world, you can decide how much you like Reality Acid, and then either tune your flex slots to make it happen more often, or you can cut it and favor other things. One of the things that Hunter and I had talked about a little bit is Raven's Crime plus Tilling Tree Folk. A Tilling Tree Folk is kind of the closest thing to Light from the Loam that we get in this format, and that is a cool thing with an ETB ability that's in the colors we are. There wasn't room in this build of the deck because we were doing Reality Acid stuff, but if you want to put a copy of Raven's Crime in here, some Tilling Tree Folks that can recur cards, like maybe you build in a self-mill aspect to the deck somewhere, I think the shell is wide open, especially if you go down to 0 or 1 Reality Acids. I'm going to leave this one here. I'm actually very happy with the result. Getting to play bug grindy nonsense in any format makes me happy. No matter what the shell, no matter what, even if we're borrowing most of Affinity's core, who cares? It's still bug grindy stuff, and this was a delight. Hunter, thanks for asking me to play this. Everyone, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.